Please excuse this suit. I'm on my way out to a funeral, which is actually kind of appropriate since I just witnessed the BBC murder the Reform Party's Richard Tice, and it was beautiful. As you're watching, remember, it might sound like the BBC's Nick Robinson is being pushy, but the questions he's asking are basic economic questions. It's how much money do you plan to spend, and how much are you going to reduce the amount of money that you can spend by cutting taxes? So if Richard Tice isn't answering those questions, maybe he's somebody you shouldn't be trusting with the economy.
How do you think the markets would react if a party committed to huge increases in public spending and huge cuts in taxes were elected?
Well, that's not Reform UK, frankly. Nick,
well, you say it's not your Reform UK,
no,
but
Nick,
you've made promises.
Nick, you made completely the wrong assumption.
Your manifesto promised giveaways of £140 billion, including £30 to £40 billion extra on the NHS, on defence and on policing. You also promised to nationalise key utility companies, but didn't cost that promise. Are you saying this morning those are things you did want to do, but you now realise you might not be able to do? They're gone, those promises.
A manifesto is appropriate at a point in time.
So have they gone, the promises?
The first page of that manifesto talked about the savings and the way you
have the promises gone, Mr. Tice? What's the answer to the question?
Let me answer the question. We talked about the savings. You deliver the savings. You cut useless, daft regulations. And then you have what I call a direction of travel of performance-related tax cuts.
Understood. What's the answer to the question about whether those promises on public spending no longer apply?
A manifesto is a point in time.
So the answer is yes.
Direction of travel.
They don't apply.
The answer is we will have to deal with whatever nightmare situation the government finances are in at the time of the next general
election. Let's move on to tax, because you raised tax. Now, the Manifesto of Reform UK, I mean, it wasn't very long ago, Mr. Tice. I mean, it was at a time when markets...
over a year ago.
Well, that's not a long time, fair enough, but in that manifesto, you said that you would cut income tax. You said you'd all but abolish inheritance tax. You'd said you'd scrap VAT on energy bills. You'd abolish business rates for all but the largest companies. You would scrap stamp duty on all properties valued at less than £750,000. Can I take it from what you said that those promises too have gone because you can't afford them?
What you can take from what I've said is all of the savings that we put in that same contract that you failed to read out, I've been bang on the money on.
Do those promises made a year ago stand or not?
Our promises to save money, to cut regulations, we deliver on that. Okay. Then we deliver a direction.
Different question. Okay, let me ask you why I'm asking you, and then you can respond.
I'm going to be really clear here, right? You have to look at the whole package. And frankly, for the media class to try and portray only one side of a balance sheet or a P&L and not look at the other is irresponsible.
Well, you say it's the media. Simon French, who's the chief economist of a leading city firm, Panya Liberian, looked at your plans, said they would create an immediate fiscal gap of 80 billion a year and would create, in his view, the high probability of an immediate and violent sterling crisis. Jeremy Warner in The Telegraph also made a similar warning, saying your economic agenda is an unworkable fantasy that has been wildly undercosted. One last point, and then I'll let you reply, I promise you. And The Economist said that it would make the disastrous 49-day hair-raising, market-tanking premiership of Liz Truss in 2022. It said it would make it worse than that. Now, Nigel Farage praised Liz Truss's mini-budget in 2022. He said it was the best Conservative budget in 40 years. Have you learnt nothing?
And it's kind of weird that Richard Tice would be so cagey about this, because Nigel Farage, the boss of the Reform Party, has already admitted that the reason the Reform Party is doing so well is because people believe they have a plan.
They actually believe that with the right leadership, with the right vision, with the right courage, we can turn the country around.
Yet when it was pointed out that that plan doesn't exactly add up...
The IFS said of the proposals in the Reform Manifesto, spending reductions would save less than stated, that tax cuts would cost more than stated by a margin of tens of billions of pounds a year.
Nigel Farage's response was basically, yeah, we made it all up to score votes.
Look, we weren't going to win the last election. What we wanted to do with the contract was to set out our vision broadly of where we want to go. Now, the responsibility that is upon me now is very, very different. We're now in a completely different place, and I fully accept that I fully accept the point you're making, that between now and the next election, we've got to be more specific rather than general. I fully accept that.
So again, if you are trusting the Reform Party with the cost of living crisis, you are a moron.